What's up, guys? Christian Goes Fast here, back with another Statute of Limitations story. I bet you guys thought this wasn't going to be an ongoing series. You know, I try and keep my nose clean, try and stay out of trouble, but every once in a while I really just can't help it. And that's the story I'm telling you tonight. So, those of you who know me know I like to drive fast, hence my channel name, Christian Goes Fast. Anyway, seeing that I like to drive fast, you'd think I get into a lot of trouble. Surprisingly, I actually get into a lot less trouble than most people would think. The only time I've actually been pulled over was because my headlight was out. And there was a video on that too. If you missed that, go back and watch it, because it was pretty fun. And at first I was kind of freaking out, and this kind of brings me into my natural inclination. The second I see those white and blue lights light up behind me in my rear view and light the interior of my car, my first inclination is to step on the gas and get away. You know, I'm thinking, what are my outs? What can I possibly do? And most of the time, I'm in my car. Or at least the times it has happened so far, I've been in my car where, yeah, it's quick, but doesn't turn very well, doesn't have a very high top speed. So, my options are pretty limited in running in that car, and I'm probably not going to because I don't want to risk it. But there are times, like with my go-kart video, where my inclination, my natural just jump to thought, outweighs my power of reasoning. Or at least it beats it to my actions. Anyway, this time, I was driving on the same road that I was driving on during my close call with a dump truck. If you haven't seen that video either, go watch it. I actually like telling that story. It was a nerve-wracking day, but at the same time it was pretty fun and made for a good story. Anyway, I was driving on this road. Now, in that video, I explained that the speed limit throughout this road is 40 miles an hour, except for some places which were behind me and in front of me in the dump truck video. So, 45, I'm not doing 45. Plain and simple, I'm not. Anyway, I was heading down to Springville, going south on this road, doing 60 in a 45. As I'm doing 60 and I was cruising along, my music is going, and it's a particularly high energy, upbeat song. So, I'm just kind of cruising along well above the speed limit, you know, passing cars that they see me coming and move aside because it's a cool car coming up fast. And that was about the time, out of the corner of my eye, I saw a familiar sight. It was a police cruiser. Not just a police cruiser, it was a sheriff police cruiser with big gold letters plastered across the side reading Sheriff. By the time I see him and by the time I'm reacting, I'm practically in front of him, still doing about 60. I'd slow down a little bit because I hit the brakes, but you never want to slam on your brakes in front of a police car. You never want to give like too much inclination that you are slowing down from a faster speed. You want to gently apply and sort of coast down to the speed limit by the time you pass him or by the time you get near him. Or her. Anyway, I did not see this police car in time to gradually slow down. I kind of tapped the brakes while I was behind a car in the outside lane, which there were 4 lanes, 2 going each way. I was on the inside of the southbound lane and going very fast. I went behind a larger SUV in the outside lane and kind of tapped on my brakes a little bit to slow down, you know, just enough that maybe he'll leave me alone, not worry too much about me. This was not the case. As soon as I went past him, I saw him flip his blinker, so he was going my direction. As soon as there was a clearing, I also saw him pull into my lane behind me. Now I'm thinking, what are my outs? What can I do? I could just floor it, hope the light in front of me is green, hope there's not a bunch of cars in front of me, and try and just go fast enough that by the time he gets over the bridge that I'm now on, that he's either lost interest in pursuing me, which rarely happens, but still does actually, or that by the time he gets up there that he can't see me anymore. I'm gone. Now, like I said earlier, my car doesn't have a great top speed, but does have some get up and go. So while I was considering that, I also remembered there's a turn signal. Now usually this turn signal isn't open. There's typically a long line of cars waiting to come and cross. But this time, as I crest the bridge, I noticed it was a green turn signal, and there was a gap. So, I decided I know this road. I can turn, and I can disappear that way, and that'll be a lot easier. It will be a lot faster, faster in time-wise, as compared to speed. I'll disappear a lot quicker. I will be gone. Chances are he will be expecting me, this police officer will be expecting me to just go straight and try and either wait for him to pull me over or try and disappear. So I pull up to the light and I take the corner a little bit too fast, but thankfully not too fast as to losing vehicle control, but a little bit more fast than I'm typically comfortable with. So, I turn onto this road and there's no cars in front of me, so I just gun it and I start going. I start disappearing. And all this time, I've got one eye on the road and one eye on the rear view occasionally. And I see him drive past. So at that point, I know, okay, I'm good. For now, at least. Maybe he's radioed in, maybe he said to watch out for me. Or maybe he's waiting at the next get-on point that connects with this road. Maybe he saw me, maybe he didn't. I don't know. So, I get up to the next turn and I turn and I start heading south again. And I drive past a college campus on the way, and instead of going back to this road that I usually take, I went and got on the cramped freeway, right about in the middle of rush hour. But that was the last I heard of him. Now, when these things happen, you kind of end up just looking over your shoulder from time to time for most of the rest of your drive, just kind of hoping and praying that you don't see anything show up there that you wouldn't want to. And this is what I did. For the next 10 minutes of my drive, spent the entire time, I was shaking actually, because at this point, not only do I have a speeding charge, I have an attempted to avoid police charge. Now the time has passed since then, hence the title Statute of Limitations, to where I cannot be prosecuted. That's kind of the whole point of these stories. It's things that had they gone differently would have had very, very different outcomes, probably involving a large speeding ticket, at least, maybe jail time. But time has passed, the charges cannot be placed. I make sure to do my research and figure out exactly the amount of time that would need to pass before I can tell these stories. So, maybe I have a couple stories lined up that I just can't tell yet. Maybe I don't. Maybe there'll be some in the future. There probably will. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Of course, if you're involved in a similar circumstance where a police officer pulls behind you while speeding, I highly suggest that you pull over and don't risk running. It doesn't always work out well, and usually it does not. More often than not, you're putting yourself and others in danger. So do not try and run from the police. I cannot stress enough that it's an unnecessary risk that doesn't need to happen, and police officers are largely a lot more workable if you just pull over and comply. That's the number one way to not get charged with a ticket, is to be compliant and just absolutely, trying to think of another word for compliant, but be agreeable. Work with the police officer. Don't put up a fight. Don't try and run. It just makes things worse for yourself. That being said, I'm not a good role model. Don't do what I do. Do what I say. Is that backwards? Anyway, thank you all for watching. Please consider liking, commenting, subscribing. It really helps out. If there's anything you guys want to know about, let me know. And also, before I end this video, I just want to show you guys that I did sustain a recent injury working on one of my winter projects. It doesn't look that bad on camera, but it's pretty deep. Almost to bone level. Anyway, don't worry about this. It'll be fine. I've got it all figured out. I've had much worse injuries. But thank you so much again for watching. Take care, and I hope to see you all next time.